Halo Fishmania, kita akan membahas tentang kalori ya. Adakah sel pembaca kalori di dalam tubuh kita? Karena selalu dalam dunia fitness, dalam dunia diet berorientasi terhadap kalori masuk, kalori keluar, hitung kalori. Adakah sel yang di dalam tubuh kita yang bisa mendeteksi kalori tubuh? Yuk kita lihat pembahasannya. Ada yang dibawa ini, video ini yang dibawakan oleh Dr. Jason Fung, ya, seorang ahli spesialis ginjal dari Kanada. Ya, simak terus. Selamat datang di channel BINARAGA.NET bersama saya Jo Puangfu, biasa dipanggil nama Jo JP atau JP, yang biasa membahas tentang produk, membahas tentang nutrisi, latihan, dan produk seputar fitness. Jangan khawatir, video ini telah kita selamatkan teks bahasa Indonesia supaya Anda bisa mengerti, karena video ini dalam bahasa Inggris. Ya.
So then they came up with this whole energy balance paradigm. So therefore they said, well, if fat is going to make you fat, how is it going to make you fat? Well, it's all about the calories, right? So fat is 9 grams per calorie, protein and carbohydrates is 4 grams per calorie, and that's where we got all sold on this sort of message that it's all about calories in, calories out. And the problem with this sort of message is that it's actually not true, because people think that calories in is all about what you eat, and calories out is all about exercise. And since you control both, therefore the solution is just to eat less and move more. But this sort of whole calories theory is not based on human physiology. Like, there is nothing in our bodies which detects the presence of calories, right? So if you eat cookies versus you eat salmon, the hormonal response is completely different. We've worked out physiologic pathways for like everything, right down to the genetic level. So here's lipogenesis, like the creation of fat, or lipolysis, the burning of fat, right? You see triglycerides, you see glycerol, you see fatty acids. Like, where are the calories, right? There's nothing in there about calories. Here's basic metabolism, right? Proteins, when you eat proteins, insulin goes up. You know, peptide YY goes up. When you eat fats, cholecystokinin goes up. When you eat carbohydrates, insulin goes up. Where are the calories, right? What physiologic pathway responds to calories? Because we know that the minute you eat a food, so if you eat cookies versus you eat salmon, the hormonal response to that food is completely and utterly different. You eat cookies, insulin goes way up. You eat an avocado, it does not, right? There's nothing the same about that food. Our body responds to it completely differently, yet we're supposed to ignore all the physiology that we've learned of the past 100 years and pretend that it's all about calories, because when you burn them, they actually give off the same heat, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's based on physics and not human physiology. Same thing, when insulin comes in, this is the pathway. Right? We know it stimulates PI3K, it stimulates MAPK, increases GLUT4, which is what does the glucose, but in the meantime it stimulates cell growth and proliferation, which has implications, of course, for cancer, P10, that kind of thing. But where are the calories, right? That insulin response is so important to what the body is supposed to do, because that's the instructions. Our body runs on hormones. But there's nothing in there about calories. Therefore, 100 calories of cookies and 100 calories of avocado are going to have entirely different effects on human physiology. They're not just going to cause the same fattening effect. And of course, you can see it. You can measure it, right? Low-carb foods versus regular carb foods, that's the insulin level. Insulin spikes way up when you eat lots of carbohydrates. That's just what happens. And we know, for example, that insulin, one of its effects is to block lipolysis, right? So when insulin goes up, you cannot break down fat. In other words, insulin blocks fat burning. But the technical term is it blocks lipolysis. Now, we've known that for 50 years. So if you eat a food that spikes insulin up, it's going to block fat burning. That's what it's going to do. Another thing insulin does, it promotes DNL, or de novo lipogenesis. That's the creation of new fat from carbohydrates in the liver. So when you eat a lot of bread, for example, insulin goes way up, your liver takes that and starts making triglycerides. You might get fatty liver from that, for example. But we know that insulin promotes de novo lipogenesis, and we know that if you eat bread, insulin goes way up. When you eat avocados, it doesn't. So why do we think that the calories is what's important here? Because if you burn fat or if you don't burn fat, it depends on your insulin levels, not the calories, right?
Semoga bermanfaat. Setujukah Anda bahwa hidup ini adalah pilihan, kita bebas memilih gaya hidup seperti apa, dan kita bebas memilih makanan yang kita konsumsi, tetapi kita tidak bebas dari konsekuensinya. Dan memang kesehatan bukan yang utama, tetapi hal yang utama tidak bisa diraih tanpa kesehatan. Dan kita tidak mungkin bisa membayar orang melakukan push up, tetapi kita yang mendapatkan ototnya. Jadi kita yang harus melakukan pada diri kita sendiri. Saya Jopo bersama BINARAGA.NET. Kami mengajak Anda membangun generasi baru yang lebih cerdas, fit, dan tangguh. Di BINARAGA.NET, kami selalu percaya bahwa setiap orang pasti bisa memiliki tubuh yang ideal dan sehat. Dengan subscribe, like, dan share video ini, Anda turut membantu membangun Indonesia sehat dan kuat. Salam jelas fitness, saya JP.